All right, let's see how we doing. We should be back in the building. Y'all know what to do. Drop a 1 in the chat if you can hear me. Drop a 1 in the chat if you can see me. We're looking all crispy and clean on the screen. And welcome y'all. Welcome back to another YouTube live stream and another episode of the ClassE Morning Show. I'm your host, ClassE, of patreon.com/ClassEbeats, by the way. Make sure you check it out. The link is in the description as well as in the pinned comment in the chat. We're going to get into it today. We've got a lot to talk about. We got a victory lap by Diddy's attorneys. We're going to hear from the GOAT, Brian Steele. We're going to hear from the other GOAT, Nicole Westmoreland. And then, of course, we're going to hear from Agnifilo himself. We're going to talk about what's going on there. We're going to see some reaction from the victims of the Bryan Kohberger trial. We've got to get into more information about that. We're going to talk about Diddy's bail. Diddy's bail, the judge said, oh, we ain't doing that. So we're going to talk about all of that in a second and more. But thank y'all for being here. I got to say what's up to the people first to start the show. Shout out to everyone that's in the building. You know, we got our regulars in here. We got my awesome, amazing Amy that's in the building. Good to see you as always. Thank you for being here. Doing great things. We got Perfect Pieces in the building. Les Cleaver, Slim Life New Jersey's up in here. Jay Buckmaster. Shout out to all the members in the building. The members are going crazy over here. I appreciate y'all. Who else did I see in the building? We've got Trisha is up in here. What's up, Trisha? Good to see you. I said what's up to Jay. Good morning. We got Tatum is in the building, ready to cause some trouble. Shout out to the troublemaker Tatum. CPE is in here. I see you. We've got In Blue is back in the building. Thank you for being here, In Blue. Danny in Real Life is in here as well. And I'll be saying good morning to many more of y'all as we go throughout the show. Now, you guys know I don't ask for much on this channel. Really, there's only one thing I ask for on this channel, and that is that you all like the video on your way in. Likes are free, guys. It takes just a second for you to like the video. It's free. It lets the YouTube algorithm and whatever algorithm on the platform you're watching know that you guys are enjoying the video, and it shares the video, this channel, this live stream out with more people. So if y'all could, please make sure you take a second and like the video. Wait, guys, it's free. All right. Thank you, by the way, to all 400 plus of you that have liked the video so far. If you're feeling extra generous, you can actually share out the video. It's easy to share. You can share the video over on Twitch. You can share it over on Twitter. You can share it over on YouTube, on Instagram, Snapchat. You can even send and share this video to your group chat. Let them know we're here. You know they're going to have a good time. All right, so thank you to everybody who's being extra generous over there and sharing out the video. I've seen some of y'all have done it. Slim Life has shared it over on X. Thank you, Slim Life, for that. I know Amy shares it every single day as well, so I appreciate y'all. Also, shout out to Stephen Callie is in the building. Shout out to the West Coast, man. I know y'all are loving this summer. It's been amazing so far. Also, we got to get into it. I have one more thing I want to do before we get into the show. Thank you to everyone who goes the extra mile and sends in the super chats. I will be reading super chats as we go throughout the show. Let me see. So I got a couple here. CPE said, ClassE, I almost always forget. Oh, to like the video. That's okay. That's why I remind you. Listen, guys, I'm gonna be begging for likes until I'm off of YouTube. So don't worry, I will make sure you're reminded. All right, I got your back. We've got with the first super chat, Slim Life in here with the 5 bomb says, good morning, family. Been a rough morning for me. Oh no. Grateful for all of you. Thank you, ClassE Amy, and much love to you all. Remember, God is good all the time, and all the time, God is good. Hopefully your day will continue to be better. Slim Life, and that will take it 1 minute, 1 hour, 1 moment at a time, and you're here with us, so hopefully you'll be able to have a good time here on the channel, and appreciate you always supporting as well. Slim Life with the 2 bomb says coming soon. We're here, don't have to wait anymore. My dog CPE is in the building, says wishing the CEB family a fun, safe holiday weekend. Hope to see everyone back again after the 4th. Don't get your own segment on Court TV. Oh no, it'll never happen. Shout out to CPE for the 5 bomb. Thank you, my friend. And it's almost the 4th. I got to get my 4th of July shirt out. I'm glad you reminded me of that. I'll be doing it up tomorrow. We've got Shauna in the building. Good to see you back in here, Shauna, with the 10 bomb. Always super generous. Says, blessings and grace. I love you all to life. I like that. Thank you for your prayers always, Shauna. Every single day. I don't just say it. We say a prayer for Shauna. So thank you so much for being here. Thank you for being so strong with everything that you've got going on. It's always good to see you in here. And you're always so generous sharing the love as well. So thank you, Shauna. I appreciate you as well. We've got Amy in the building. You know what time it is. She's gifting 5 memberships. If you got a membership from the awesome, amazing Amy, make sure you say thank you. All right. Always showing some support in here. She does not miss. West Coast in the building. What are y'all saying about the West Coast? Oh man, I miss the West Coast too. West Coast is amazing. We've also got Stephen Callie in here. Speaking of the West Coast with the super sticker. What is that? I can't read that far. It says, how's it going? Thank you for being here, Stephen Callie, over on the West Coast. We're all jealous. Enjoying amazing weather out there. Amy says, or lose the shirt. Hey, oh man, that's amazing. So if y'all are ready, we're gonna go ahead and get into the show. Again, please guys, like the video. We've got over 500 of you, nearly 600 of you in the building. Please make sure you like the video on your way in. It's free. All right, let's go ahead and get to it. I know you guys are gonna love this one. When a defendant who has some BS charges gets a favorable ruling, a favorable verdict, I love playing the victory lap from the defense attorney. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and get into the official victory lap here from Agnifilo. We've got Brian Steele. We've got Nicole Westmoreland and more in here talking about what went on during this Diddy trial and how they're feeling about the verdict handed down by this jury. Here we go. They got everybody up there.
It's not a party till we're all here.
Man, Diddy's gonna go crazy once he... These interviews are gonna be amazing.
All right. Thank you all for being patient. Am I speaking loud enough? You all can hear me okay? All right. Today's a great victory. It's a great victory for Sean Combs. It's a great victory for the jury system. You saw that the Southern District of New York prosecutors came at him with all that they had.
Yep.
They're not stopping, but one thing stands between all of us and a prison, and that is a jury of 12 citizens. And we had a wonderful jury. Mm-hmm. They listened to every word, and they got the situation right. Or certainly right enough. They acquitted him of the sex trafficking, which he was absolutely innocent of.
Absolutely,
They acquitted him of the racketeering conspiracy that he was absolutely innocent of, and all of the components to it. The kidnapping, he was innocent of that. The arson, he was innocent of that. The obstructing justice, he was innocent of that. Yep. And that is no longer just me saying that. That is the verdict of our jury. So today's a great day. Today is a win. Today is a victory of all victories for Sean Combs and our legal team. And I want to say one thing. There are very few people around whom a legal team could coalesce and become one. And Sean Combs is that person, and we are all blessed to be part of it. And I am now done speaking to you, and I'm going to turn it over to Ms. Garagos.
Yep, shout out to them. They did a great job.
I first want to thank my client, Sean Combs, for trusting us, myself and everybody here, this incredible dream team that he put together. Without him, we would not have been able to do this. He is incredible, and I want to thank him. I want to thank the jury for putting such great care into this case.
They did
came
great.
Early every single day. And I want to thank them, as I said in my opening, standing between all of us and the drastic consequences of the criminal convictions of sex trafficking. And RICO is a jury of our peers. And I thank them. I want to thank the judge. And I want to thank, despite the terrible conditions at the MDC, I want to thank the good people who worked there, who ensured that we had sufficient amount of time to prepare.
She's up here giving
trial.
the MVP speech.
It is extremely difficult to prepare for a federal case.
I'm just waiting for her to say, I'd like to thank my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. I mean, yo, she's happy. I'd like to thank my mom, my dad, my alma mater.
It's extremely difficult to prepare for a federal case in the conditions at the MDC, and they did everything they could to make that happen. I want to thank them. I also have been saying this since the beginning of this case. Sean Combs has not sexually assaulted anybody. I've been saying this for months. We've said it with each lawsuit that came out, and today that was proven true. The media got it wrong about Sean Combs every single day for nearly 2 years. I ask that for every time you guys see a civil lawsuit, criminal complaints or criminal indictments, you actually take a look and analyze these and see whether or not these are actually going to stand up in a court of law, because today they did not. He has not sexually assaulted anybody, certainly hasn't sex trafficked anybody, and the jury found that today. Thank you. I am now going to pass this over to Mr. Steele.
Oh, we got the GOAT, Bryan Steele.
Good evening. Good evening.
Everybody loves Bryan Steele.
The ladies and gentlemen to my right and my left.
Look at him.
There is not a better group of honest and ethical, hardworking, and zealous lawyers, and I especially wish to thank Mark and Tenny for allowing me and everyone else to come together. On behalf of my family, myself, I wish to thank you all for being here and writing truthfully about a man wrongly charged with most of the crimes, and that we all must remember that allegations are nothing. And I'd like to thank Sean for letting me be here. Thank you all. God bless you.
Shout out to Bryan Steele. We got to give him a round of applause for that. Oh, and Nicole's up there. Let's go.
Thankfully, in our country, we have a right to a jury trial. And thankfully, Mr. Combs took that right. He actually battled for his freedom, for his innocence. He did it. And a lot of times, you know, people are too afraid to do it. And he did it, and we're so happy that he did. We're proud of him. We are completely honored that he put his faith and his trust in us to fight for him. Today is a major win to show what the system can do. We appreciate and we're so thankful to the jury. Thank you to the court. Thank you, New York. It's been a pleasure being here and fighting in your district. Thank you so much. And listen, we appreciate the media. We do. There was a lot of reporting on the accusations. There was a lot of reporting on the indictment. Please report just as vigorously on the acquittal of these counts, please, because that's also the right thing to do. Thank you.
Yeah, be fair. Shout out to Nicole Westmoreland. Great point. Great point. And Nicole, if you've watched the channel, I'm sure you have, you know, I have no problem with pointing out, and have had no problem with pointing out, the BS of this case. Not only the BS of this case, but the lack of credibility of the witnesses. Guys, why do you think they didn't call any witnesses themselves? Because the witnesses called by the government, called by the state, were so bad. They were so bad. All they needed was cross-examination, and the jury saw that. Nicole is right. We need to be talking about that. We have to hold Jane Doe, we got to hold Cassie accountable, because they weren't credible at all.
Oh, sure. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. So first of all, I want to thank this wonderful team behind me. I am so happy that they allowed me to join it. I would like to say that I've done a lot of trials, but this is probably the most special one to me. And most importantly, I want everyone to know the job is not done yet. We're not finished. The job is not done yet. And so I want to, again, thank Mark, Tenny, and the rest of these wonderful lawyers behind us. They did a fantastic job. And like those before me have said, our system, the jury system, is important. We need good people to serve on juries. We need good people to come and say a person is not guilty. Take that courage to do that. It's okay. We want you to serve on juries. This particular jury was a special jury. It was fantastic. It listened, it paid attention, it put the nonsense to the side, it put the distraction to the side, and came to a lawfully good, just conclusion. Juries are important. Juries are important. But more important than that, I think, is people wanting to be on juries. So for all of you all listening, for all you out there in the public, please accept the call, become a juror, and do the right thing. Thank you very much.
There it is. Another great point as well.
It is such a privilege to be a part of this legal team, this amazing legal team, and to represent Sean Combs. And this is a reminder to everyone, I hope, about the flaws in the criminal justice system.
Amen.
And for everyone to take a second look when the government charges people with crimes, and especially when the Southern District of New York does here.
Amen.
And so I hope everyone takes that seriously. And we take this as an enormous victory and win. This is a huge win. He was acquitted of sex trafficking, acquitted of RICO conspiracy, and he will be able to sleep well at night knowing that. Okay, thank you to everyone. I appreciate you.
What did you think about the bail decision?
Jason.
Guys, can any of you share what Mr. Combs wanted?
That's so good. I don't know who this is.
I want to start just by thanking my family and the families of each of the lawyers
Here we
here
go.
for giving us the space and
I
the
wanna thank
time
my Lord
to
and
serve
Savior,
Sean
Jesus Christ.
and to fight for Sean. I want to thank the court for giving us a fair fight. And you see what happens when you have a good defense team come together in front of a court that gives the defense team a fair fight. And finally, I just want to thank Sean for giving me the honor and the privilege of serving him. Thank you.
Guys, look at these people. They called no witnesses. I know this happens. I'm not an attorney, so I've only seen it here. My goodness. This is so amazing. They called no witnesses. And on 3 out of the 5 major counts, Diddy got off. This was such a bad case, and it's a shame and disgusting that RICO was even mentioned in the first place. I mean, think about that. Crazy.
I feel like there's not a lot more that I can say because of these wonderful people have really said all there is to say, but I do want to thank Sean for the privilege of this opportunity to help him clear his name after all, with the Southern District coming after him, guns blazing. It really is a testament to the fact that when you get a fair trial and a jury of your peers listens to the evidence, they will do the right thing. And I just want to say again how proud I am to be part of this team and to have helped Sean get a just verdict.
Are you going to appeal the Manic? Guys, can anyone share what Mr. Combs wanted to say in court when he raised his hand during the bail hearing?
Oh, we just heard about that. We're going to talk about the bail hearing shortly, too.
Can you talk about the bail decision and the judge using defense's own words during trial about violence?
I'm not going to talk about the bail decision because it's still a pending unresolved matter. And I don't think we're going to take any more questions. I want to thank you all. You guys have been so diligent and dedicated. I pass you guys in the rain. I walk by you in the sun, and you're all out here every day. I just want to thank you. But I don't think we're going to take any questions.
Can you take us through the ups and downs of the day, though? Because Mr. Combs got acquittals on the major charges. Maybe thought he could go home tonight, and then was told he couldn't.
So a lot of these things are still in process. I mean, the one thing I'm going to leave you with this: we are not nearly done fighting. We are just getting started.
There you go. They're not done yet.
To win this and to defeat the prosecutors from the Southern District of New York takes effort from beginning to end. Today was a major step in the right direction, but we fight on, and we're going to win, and we're not going to stop until he walks out of prison a free man to his family. Thank you all for coming.
There you go. Well said. I mean, he said everything we wanted to hear. He said, hey, guys, listen, we're up here. We're smiling because we got a fair fight and we got some wins. But we are not done yet. The fight isn't over. We're going to talk about Diddy's bail unfortunately being denied coming up here shortly, but it's dope to see this elite team of defense attorneys. No witnesses called. None. Amazing.
And so what we have ultimately
is so bad.
There is no evidence. None.
Absolutely amazing. Man, Diddy was lucky to have these people, but he did a great job finding them. Let me know what y'all think about this in the comments in the chat. This isn't the last time we're going to hear about Diddy. More to come soon. Shout out to the gang in the building. I see all 1,100 of y'all up in here. As they say in prison, fight the fight. Yep. Man, think of how many people don't have the resources to fight like this. And y'all were saying it in the chat. I saw there's so many of these federal cases get pled out. And Diddy's like, no, we ain't doing that. Thank God they had a great jury. The jury saw through all of the lies that were told by these uncredible witnesses. So well done. The best attorneys money can buy. That's a fact. Absolutely. Jabari's in here, big mad, said, yeah, exactly. Diddy did not want this. He wanted all the charges not guilty. Well, here's the problem, Jabari. You got to change the laws if you want to do that. Here, there's only two ways you can beat this. One is the easiest and the simplest way, in my opinion. Don't fly people out to have certain adult activities with them. Abide by the law. That's the easiest thing to do. The second thing is to change the law. Unfortunately for Diddy, he's in the situation now. He can't change the law. And he participated in certain federal activities. When you do that, you're at this level, you have to move differently. You have to move differently. So yes, the law sucks. We talked about it. I went on about the law for hours yesterday and hours the day before that on how bad this transportation to participate in prostitution is just garbage. But it's the law. So either abide by it, cry about it, or fight it. That's what Diddy did. And when it comes to transportation, he lost that fight because he broke the law. It's not, yeah, it sucks. But the simple thing to do would not be flying people out. Nobody getting flued out. All right. What else are y'all saying in here? Evidently, they asked for 5 years and the baseline is like 23 months and he served 10. Yeah, there's attorneys out here analyzing this and overanalyzing it, as some of them did. And we're going to get into what happened with Diddy's bail being denied and why that happened. But we'll have to see. We'll have to see under the law what happens. We have a legal system, not a justice system. I've been saying that. You got to play the game. That's the whole point. This is why the feds rarely lose. Yeah. Here's the real deal. The prosecution fooled everyone by making you think this was a RICO case. They were clever. The prosecution won while Diddy lost. Yeah, it's a tough situation to be in because Diddy is going to be a convicted felon now, right? He is going to have that on his record. We'll have to see what happens. He might as well stay in until sentencing in October. Well, it's looking like that's what's going to happen. We're going to talk about it here in a second. Diddy should have got a public defender. That's the worst advice I've ever heard. Good grief. Question. Did he fly prostitutes for his women? Why are they not responsible? Because the government didn't want to hold them responsible. What? They wanted Diddy. They wanted the big fish. Think of how easy, from the testimony you guys heard, think of how easy it would have been for them to charge ClassE. They could have charged ClassE, guys. Why is nobody talking about this? Oh, I know, because ClassE, she's a victim. Oh, ClassE. ClassE could have been indicted in this RICO charge. But no, they took a different route. They wanted to get some other charges. So they say, hey, you testify. We're going to be able to add trafficking on this indictment for Diddy. We're going to be able to add the Mann Act in there. So all you got to do is testify and you won't be on the RICO indictment. No big deal. They could have easily charged Cassie in this. You guys saw the BS that was done by Fannie Willis right here in Fulton County on that YSL indictment. There were people that just took pictures on social media and they were holding up guns in the video, and they were listed as a co-conspirator. They should have charged Cassie's you know what, but I'm not going to get into it. Yeah, good morning to everyone just stopping by. ClassE laugh out loud. I'm not big mad. I'm big happy Diddy finally has a criminal record. That's crazy. They should have found him not guilty on all counts. In my opinion, there's no prostitution if the prostitutes weren't also charged. Unfortunately, that's decided by the people who put this indictment together. Solicitor charged, but prostitutes free to still prostitute. Shaking my head. And they get $20 to $30 million too. I wish Cassie would have been charged too, as she no dang angel. 99% conviction from people snitching. That's true. Saw a criminal lawyer react, breaking it down this morning. He tries RICO cases a lot too. Shout out to him. No co-conspirators charged, no RICO. No prostitutes charged, no solicitation for prostitutes. You think it would be that simple, right? The law is not that simple. Should have been not guilty on all counts. I agree. But they had to find him guilty of something. I heard Cassie telling the dude, I will effing kill you, because she wanted the tape. She's a bad girl. She can hold her own. Cassie getting sued now in a civil case. Oh boy. If that's true, I'll have to look into that. I hope so. That would be amazing. Hopefully she gets sued by the Punisher. That would be funny. It was always the stupidest part of the RICO charge. Only one person? What? It's supposed to be an organization. Well, everybody else got immunity, like Woody, right? It's the same thing. The reason Woody wasn't listed in the YSL indictment was because he got immunity, and he's like, oh yeah, I'll tell y'all whatever I want to, whatever you want me to. Government gets to choose. Yep. Cassie's getting sued. I hope that's true. The criminal lawyer reading those TK lyrics was hilarious. Oh man, those dancers need to sue Cassie for STDs she gave them. Oh Lord. Do you think that Woody actually killed Donovan Thomas? We will never know. We'll never know. And I'll never say on the internet. Hey, the evidence is out there. Y'all saw it. You make your own conclusions. They didn't want Diddy. They wanted the tapes to see who was on them. April O'Neil gets it. You said, ClassE, you said that was the whole idea. They had to find him guilty of something. They were going to find him guilty of something for sure. It's loving the sound effects. Thank you. Some people don't like the sound effects because I'm immature up in here. Let's go ahead and get to the next topic. I'm going to let me see how I want to do this. Should we stick with Diddy? Let's stick with Diddy on this one. I was going to switch over to, oh no, my camera's off center. Well, that's annoying. I got to fix my camera. Hold on. Nope, that just made it worse. Sorry, y'all. We're doing in real time adjustments here. So we were going to go to Bryan Kohberger, but instead, let's talk about what happened with Diddy's bail being denied by the judge. Hopefully y'all can still see me okay. CPE says, ClassE, I've said it before and I will say it again. Diddy should be in prison for ruining every breath I take. And come with me. Dang, bro. Come on, man. It feels weird saying the title Come With Me and Diddy in the same sentence, but I get what you're saying. I think he's a slimy, pun intended, POS, but That's me speaking emotionally. The jury got it correct. I don't think anybody disagrees that Diddy isn't Diddy is an upstanding citizen. But when it comes to the charges here, you have to say it was BS. The jury basically called Cassie and Jane prostitutes. Although they should have found them not guilty on it, but they pretty much labeled them as prostitutes. That's hilarious. I never even thought of it that way. I never even thought of it like that. That is fair. So as we heard recently, unfortunately for Diddy, his bail has been denied. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to figure out and find out why that was possibly denied, what's going to be taking place now for Diddy, and when he's going to get his next day in court. But before we get into that, I don't know if you guys saw this. Most likely you have. Once the verdict came out for Diddy, there were people in front of the courthouse that were participating in some insane activity. Yes, people who were in support of Diddy were outside of the courthouse pouring baby oil on each other. Look at this mess.
I don't know what she gonna do, y'all.
Oh, not the wig came on. Yo, that's crazy. Anyway, shout out to them. I was shocked when I saw that. I had to let you guys see that. Anyway, let's see what's going on with Diddy's bond denial.
This morning,
Yikes.
Sean Diddy Combs acquitted of the most serious charges
People
he
are
faced
wild.
in federal criminal court: racketeering, conspiracy, and sex trafficking.
Today's a great victory. It's a great victory for Sean Combs.
But the music mogul will remain behind bars until his sentencing, after the judge denied bail, saying that the defense did not prove Combs is not a danger to the public.
I want everyone to know the job is not done yet.
The jury of 8 men and 4 women deliberating for just over 13 hours, finding Combs guilty of 2 counts of transportation to engage in prostitution, each carrying a maximum 10-year prison sentence. The verdict comes one day after jurors told the judge that they were unable to reach a verdict on the racketeering charge, citing unpersuadable opinions. Combs pumping his fists inside the courtroom after the verdict was read, later kneeling down and appearing to pray once the judge dismissed the jury, telling his family behind him, "I'm gonna be home soon, I love you." The defense claiming victory with the partial conviction.
Sean Combs has not sexually assaulted anybody. We've said it with each lawsuit that came out, and today that was proven true.
Prosecutors arguing that the rapper ran a criminal enterprise for 2 decades, using his wealth and power to force his victims to submit. Over the 7-week trial, dozens of witnesses took the stand, including escorts, former assistants, and alleged victims, who detailed drug-fueled parties known as freak-offs.
Shout out to the freak-offs.
Among them, Combs' former girlfriend, Cassie Ventura, who recounted years of alleged abuse and violence.
She really wanted to give a voice to others who suffer in silence.
Outside the courthouse, a mixed scene of supporters and protesters, as Sean Combs now waits to learn what lies ahead for his future.
How long he's going to have to wait is
So
interesting.
what lies next is that the next hearing to determine Combs' sentencing date is actually going to be scheduled for Tuesday. The proposed date on the table for his sentencing is October 3rd, but Combs' attorneys, they're asking for an expedited sentencing, guys.
Chloe, appreciate it. Thank you very much.
I hope they get that done because, man, for him to have to sit in jail for another, how many months? July, August, September, October, another 3 months makes no sense. Just go ahead and get it over with. Dang.
All right, joining us now at the table with a closer look at the case and the verdict is NBC News legal analyst and criminal defense attorney Danny Savalos. Danny, good morning. We know you've spent a lot of time breaking this verdict down, but when you think about it, the prosecutors charged him with racketeering so that they could bring in a ton of evidence that they wouldn't have been able to otherwise.
Exactly right.
But now that he has been acquitted on those most serious charges, you wonder, was this an overreach? Did they go too far?
There's an argument to be made. I mean, you could say that the prosecution won because they did secure convictions, as federal prosecutors do in over 90% of the cases brought. But the only convictions were of the Mann Act, which was clearly the least serious of the charges, carrying the least punishment. If he'd been convicted of any of those sex trafficking counts, as you know, Laura, he was facing a mandatory minimum of 15 years. Now, even at the government's high end of their calculations, he's looking at 4 to 5 years. He's already got 10 months in credit for that. So a huge difference. And I would say, on the whole, a huge victory for the defense, even though this defendant was convicted.
For a moment, Dana, yesterday there was some anticipation that Sean Diddy Combs could walk out of the courtroom yesterday. The judge has decided that he's going to be denied bail. That means he stays behind bars for right now. The bottom line here was that the defense team had conceded his domestic violence problems through history. Was that what held him behind bars?
Yes and no. Here's the thing. The defense always had to concede domestic violence. They had to get credibility with the jury. And by the way, even if they hadn't, there was plenty of evidence of domestic violence. For example, a video of domestic violence, of Combs beating his girlfriend that the jury saw. So it really didn't matter that they conceded it. Here's the thing. The presumption under federal law was that Combs was going to continue to be detained until his sentencing. The defense had the burden to show by clear and convincing evidence that he was neither a flight risk nor a danger to the community. So he started out with an uphill climb. In all likelihood, he was going to be detained. It would have been a big deal for the defense, a big win for them to get him out pending sentencing. But when you think about it, if he's really only looking at a few years, he's going to do this time anyway. He's going to get credit for this time. So he might have just gone out to come back in October or late fall.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yep, and we'll have to see what happens. If you guys are wondering what the defense proposed, I've got a little bit more detail here. Here we go. They sent an email to the judge, Judge A.S., because I'm not even going to try and pronounce his last name. What did they say? Mr. Combs moves for release on appropriate conditions pursuant to 18 U.S.C. 3143A1. Pending his sentencing proceeding, given the jury's clear verdict acquitting Mr. Combs of the RICO conspiracy and trafficking counts, continued detention of Mr. Combs is inappropriate. I agree. Apparently, the judge does not. As these proceedings have demonstrated, and as we told the court from the outset of this case, Mr. Combs came to New York to surrender in order to defend against the government's charges because he was committed to showing his innocence. Since his arrest and detention in September of last year, Mr. Combs has obeyed the court, respected these proceedings, and demonstrated model behavior at the MDC. And today, the jury unambiguously rejected the government's allegations that Mr. Combs ran a years-long criminal enterprise or engaged in trafficking, the core of the government's case. Mr. Combs stands convicted of 2 Mann Act counts, and his sentencing exposure is substantially lower than when the government initially sought detention. The court should release Mr. Combs on the proposed conditions. Now, of course, we know the government said, we ain't doing that. They give the applicable law. We don't care. We're not attorneys here. Y'all can read that later. Also, they're saying he's not a flight risk. I don't believe he is either. And now we're going to skip down to what they're actually proposing. So here's what they propose and what the judge said no to. They propose that he pays a $1 million bond. Goodness. Co-signed by Sean Combs, his mother, his sister, and the mother of his oldest daughter. Mr. Combs' travel will be restricted to the Southern District of Florida, the Central District of California, and the Southern District of New York to attend court and meet with his counsel, as well as the Eastern District of New York or the District of New Jersey, only to the extent that his travel to and from New York involves an airport in those districts. What else? Mr. Combs' passport surrendered to pretrial services. Okay. Drug testing as ordered by pretrial services. All other standard conditions of the pretrial supervision. Okay, we know now. The judge said, no, we're not doing that. Shout out to Alex Shapiro and Mark Agnifilo. They said that's not going to happen. So now we'll get into why. Why did the judge say no? Let's get into it. Judge A.S. made a ruling yesterday, after Combs was found guilty on prostitution charges and acquitted of more serious charges. Sean Combs will not be released on bail after being found guilty of prostitution charges and acquitted of a more serious charges in a high-profile federal crimes case. You know what crimes case. Judge A.S. ruled on yesterday, that the music mogul will remain in custody as he awaits sentencing. The judge said Combs' attorneys failed to demonstrate that he poses no danger to any person. Again, the problem is they said during court, yeah, if this trial was about domestic violence, then Diddy would be guilty. Ugh. They had to do that part to make a great point that he wasn't being charged with domestic violence, all this other stuff he didn't do. But it may have come back to bite them when it comes to Diddy getting bail. So they failed to show that he wasn't a danger to any person, citing an alleged act of violence on a woman in June of 2024, the ClassE video, after Combs was already under investigation. You full-throatedly, oh my gosh. You full-throatedly in closing arguments told the jury that there was violence here, says the judge. Combs' sentencing is scheduled for October 3rd. They're trying to expedite that. Maybe they'll get it, maybe they won't. The decision comes after Combs' defense teams proposed to the court earlier on Wednesday that he be immediately released on a $1 million bond co-signed by his mother, sister, and the mother of his oldest daughter. Combs' attorney said in the letter that he would be restricted to traveling only in Florida. We just read all of this. And obviously the attorneys contend that Combs is not a flight risk and argued he has demonstrated trustworthiness and cooperation throughout the government's prosecution of him. And that's what we've seen as well. On Wednesday, the jury acquitted Combs of trafficking and racketeering charges he faced and convicted him of 2 lesser counts, as we know, transportation to engage in prostitution. The music mogul has pled not guilty. Combs could still face a maximum of 20 years for the charges he was convicted on, 10 years for each count. Also, in their letter to Judge S., Combs' attorneys noted the sentencing guidelines for his Mann Act convictions would land him a prison term of 21 to 27 months, or about 2 years. They noted further, he has already served 10 months behind bars at Brooklyn's Metropolitan Detention Center. Okay? Had Combs been convicted of the charges of trafficking or racketeering, he could have spent the rest of his life in prison. That didn't happen. A legal expert predicted to People that Combs will ultimately serve little to no time in prison. I agree. The lawyer for ClassE, as we know, and the prosecution's star witness, had earlier submitted a letter to the judge asking him to deny Combs' bond, worrying that he could pose a danger to Ventura or others. Yeah, that's fair. That's really, really fair. Anyway, Ventura also alleged that near the end of their 11-year on and off again relationship with Combs, that he assaulted her. The jury didn't agree. Defense attorneys who did not call any witnesses attempted to portray the encounters or the intercourse as consensual and argued that there was little evidence to suggest that Combs had overseen a racketeering conspiracy. Despite the conclusion of the criminal trial, Combs, who now sports gray hair, still faces several civil suits accusing him of misconduct of a certain sort. He has consistently denied wrongdoing. Let me know what y'all think about this. Obviously, we've got a hearing, as we heard, coming up this Tuesday. Maybe they'll be able to expedite it and get Diddy out of there before October. We'll have to wait and see. Let me know what y'all think in the comments and in the chat. And appreciate every single one of y'all that are in here. Look at it. Over 500 of you have liked the video. We've got 800 of you in here. Can we get a couple more 100 likes? That would be amazing if y'all could do that. Thank you to everyone that has. Let me see what y'all are saying. Amy says we have to understand that he wasn't on trial for DV. And no, that's never okay. The prosecution was a little overzealous with all those charges. I don't care what no one says. Cassie could have left like she did when she finally left. She could have left years ago, but she wanted the clout and lifestyle. I mean, she got married and came back to freak off. So no, Cassie played you all. Oh man. Some harsh words for Cassie that I completely agree with. Did he have, you know what, with an underage Justin Bieber? How in the world can you be on his side? Oh, good. That's a great question. I'll tell you why. Bieber. I got you. A couple months ago, this article came out. Make sure you stay here. Constitutionally correct. Justin Bieber says he was not a Diddy victim. Here we go. Representatives for Justin Bieber said on Thursday that he is not a victim of the crimes alleged in Sean Diddy Combs' trafficking trial. Breaks his silence to address online speculation by people like Constitutionally Correct in the chat that has swirled for months over the teenage heartthrob and disgraced music mogul. Although Justin is not among Sean Combs' victims, there are individuals who were genuinely harmed by him, a spokesperson for Bieber told TMZ on Thursday night. Shifting focus away from his reality distracts from the justice these victims rightfully deserve. And there you have it. So the defense said multiple times we got to hear from one of Diddy's attorneys directly that, hey, I want to say this before trial proceedings start. There were no minors involved in this case. Nothing's being charged against minors here. So whatever y'all heard, whatever Constitutionally Correct is bringing up, it didn't happen. No, it just means he's not in that particular trial. Justin is not among Combs' victims. What? All right. I'll just, we'll keep it moving. Shout out to Kara Hampton in here with the 3 bombs, says next time. Hey, if y'all want to believe that, that's fine. You can believe whatever you want to. I like to go based off of the evidence that's been presented and what's said by the alleged victim. Anyway. Wait, she went to the freak offs after she was married? Ow. Cassie scared of Diddy released. She could. Ow. Y'all gonna make me read this out loud. Cassie is scared of Diddy being released. She couldn't handle the urge to call him for one last freak off. Oh my gosh. Y'all are terrible. Can we be honest? He's not a good person. He has committed crimes. I didn't follow the trial, but it seems like another CIA operative like Epstein was. We'll never know. We will never know. Yeah, I know she went to one while she was dating Alex, but not after they got married. If so, that's wild. Haven't heard that anywhere else. I think that's the rumor, or is there evidence of that? Yeah, no, a lot of people say, oh, well, if the victims go against what the narrative is, then just forget what the victim said. They were victimized. They were traumatized. They'll say anything. Y'all believe what you want to. They've been split up for almost 8 years. He hasn't done anything to her in 8 years, not even after she filed the lawsuit, but she's scared. What? Well, she got what she wanted. She got. Oh, boy. This is such a dicey topic. Amy, I can't read that out loud again. You're going to give me trouble. Amy said, did he beat Cassie more than once? What? And this time it was legal. Oh my gosh. Hey, yo. They're going to be mad at us for laughing about that. He's so insensitive. Guys, let me be clear. It was wrong for Diddy to put his hands on anybody, specifically Cassie. But it's wild. Jesus. Either ClassE, like with PD, we can all agree that Karen Reed was not a good person. Yeah. Yeah. Anybody who drives under the influence of alcohol should be whipped. But the Commonwealth failed to have a decent case, and so did the federal government. Now that's dark humor, and that was funny to me. I know. I hate that I'm laughing at it. I'm suspecting a distraction. Susan, don't make me put on my tinfoil hat today. I've been doing it for the past 3 days. What else is going on while they want our attention on Brother Love? Listen, to Susan's point, guys, what happened to all those the information on those computers and hard drives that were recovered at his LA and Miami home? What was on those things? Why are we not talking about this? You have a great voice, personality, and a good channel for YouTube. Thanks for being here. I appreciate you. Where did all of that information go, guys? It wasn't in Discovery. I'm so confused. We got a few freak off videos, and you're gonna tell me that's all that was on? That was all the information they had on those computers and hard drives? Come on, man.
Not the cap.
So I'm with you on that. This seems like a major distraction. They said, hey, Diddy, you know, you've been working for us for years. You've had this person here. You've had that person here. You've gotten the information we need. We got to collect this. We got to raid your house. We can't be seen just walking in and out of there. There's too many people watching. So what's going to happen is you're going to spend about a year in jail. We're going to go through the computers. We're going to get what we need. In this case, I mean, it's going to be so bad. I can guarantee you after that year, you probably won't be inside the jail again. It's the time you got to do. You got away with the lot. We're going to let you get away with the lot, but we need to collect. It's time. All right. Yeah, there was nothing found. Are you kidding me? Come on now. They will probably be leaking videos now that they lost the case. A lot of people are probably hoping that happens. I am not one of them. We don't know why she went back. Was she threatened or did she go on her own? We may never know. We do know, Kara, because she told him, you're the only one that can bring this freak out of me. Hey, yo. She ran back. The FBI is still reviewing the videos. Wink, wink. Yep. Far as the conspiracy theory goes, I don't care. He has to pay the piper. I agree. I can definitely believe that. So for however long she was Diddy gone, spent the whole time focusing on Cassie, I will never believe that. They will continue to watch him. Oh yeah, it's not. They're not done. All right, let's go ahead and get into our next topic. This is going to be an interesting one because now that the Bryan Kohberger trial isn't happening, people are wondering what was going on, what actually happened behind the scenes, and who were some of the people that were involved with him, since we're not going to hear that at trial. So now we're actually going to get into an interview that was done by Bryan Kohberger, or with Bryan Kohberger's former processor. Bryan Kohberger's former professor speaks out. So she's going to speak out here. She's going to do an interview and talk about her experience with him, how he was in class, and if she saw any signs that what he's admitting that he's guilty of was going to happen. Check this out and let's see what she has to say.
I want to bring now, though, and we're joined exclusively by her, renowned forensic psychologist, Dr. Catherine Ramsland. As you may know, she was Bryan Kohberger's professor and advisor at DeSales University in Pennsylvania. She has not spoken publicly about Bryan Kohberger until now. She's been on this show talking about other cases, but she's been very, very careful not to talk about Kohberger because of the trial, because she was going to be a witness at the trial.
There you go.
She now feels comfortable to open up to us. And we've got so many questions, Dr. Ramsland, that I've got so many questions I've wanted to ask you for so long. I want to start with, how did you first meet Bryan Kohberger? What classes of yours was he in?
Okay, I want to be just clear that I'm still within the FERPA limitations that protect students and student information. So I will talk within that. I met him in the fall of 2018 when he came to DeSales University. He had an associate's degree and he was going to get into our 4-year program as a psychology major. He selected the forensic track which made him an advisee for me because I managed the forensic track. And he was also in my class that semester.
And Dr. Ramsland talks about FERPA. I should have mentioned that. There's a law, it's a federal law, I believe, that she is not allowed to talk about certain aspects of a student, their grades, certain parts of their academic life. It's almost like a HIPAA. So she's going to tell us what she can, but unless Bryan Kohberger signs off, she's legally not allowed to talk about certain elements of his academic career. So just keep that in mind if there's some things that Dr. Ramsland can't answer. What was your perception of him?
He seemed like eager to be in the classroom. He was polite. He was respectful, intense, and curious. And there was no reason for me to think that he was anything other than someone who was really interested in this potential career.
Was there anything looking back now that was strange about him or that you noticed?
When I look back, there really isn't anything that stood out to me. I think when you're a teacher, your instinct is to accept students at face value. You don't, start with suspicions or, and there really weren't any red flags. He was always really quite respectful and grateful. He would thank me for things. He was attentive. He would do the work. I didn't have any concerns.
Okay. Yeah, I'm sure he was studying hard.
I think there was 4 classes that you taught him in. What were those classes?
There were 3 undergraduate courses in the forensic track that I taught, and he was in all of them. Well, one was Introduction to Forensic Psychology. Another was my death investigation class, which was called Psychological Sleuthing. And the third one was called Dangerous Minds, the Psychology of Antisocial Behavior. And then he got into the graduate program in criminal justice for a master's degree. And he took a course with me called Behavioral Criminology.
Is there anything, Dr. Ramsland, when you look back and you think about the curriculum of those classes, and not getting into his specific experience, but when you think about what you taught in those classes that you think, oh my gosh, he may have used that in what he's now accused of doing here in Idaho?
Well, the antisocial behavior course involves serial killers and mass murderers, and we do a lot of case analysis. I use two books that I wrote. One was written with the BTK killer, whom you just mentioned, and his decision process and the crimes and how he thought about them and felt about them and what was it like for him, to be caught. So that's a very intense book. And also I have one called The Mind of a Murderer, which was about various behavioral experts over the past century who interviewed killers, mass murderers, and serial killers to get as close as possible, spending a lot of time with them to get as close as possible to their process of becoming a criminal. And so he would have been exposed to that.
Wow.
I think now looking back, I would look at maybe some of the things that interested him as being, something that gives me pause. But we always have to think about, we all know, everyone in this field, forensic psychology and criminology, know that we could have students who might become offenders. But we also know that the vast majority of our students will not, and will instead go into a field like law enforcement, FBI, Secret Service, that make the world better, that protect us. So we know that there's always a risk.
That's
that we're
a wild statement.
Somebody who wants to do something terrible.
I would. Jesus. Yeah, I mean, I guess I could understand you giving tools to a monster. It seems like there should, maybe if you're choosing to go this route, if the numbers are significant enough that you would have some type of psych evaluation or test that people could take to be allowed into a certain program. But then again, I don't know how you would do that with gatekeeping or that type of information from people. that's weird to hear that they know, some of these people might use the information they get to commit crimes. Yikes.
Hoping we won't ever have that. But, in my case, I did.
That's crazy.
Can you say, Dr. Ramsland, what it was looking back now that sort of raises your eyebrows specifically in terms of things in the class?
I think just the idea of wanting to study offenders and what their thought process was, how they felt about their crimes, wanting to study that, and then finding out that this is a person who then is now saying he's guilty of doing these things. I have to look at the framework of what I taught and wonder, did I inspire him in some way? Did I, but I can't second guess that, because I may have inspired somebody else to become an FBI agent. And that's, unfortunately, in this field, that's what we live with.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you've been studying serial killers most of your life, but when you talk about the fact that what you taught may have inspired this, that's got to be hard for you to process, I would imagine.
It's terrible, very hard. And it's not just what happened to the victims. I really thought Bryan Kohberger was a promising student who really could have made a mark in this career in a very positive way. I thought that. So disappointed, angry, and very shocked that this is who he turned out to be, and horrified for the victims and their families. Just horrified. I mean, I worked with Dennis Rader closely for 5 years. I met the victims' families. I saw the devastation that these kinds of acts can have, and I have to always keep that in mind when I'm teaching these subjects.
Yeah, I mean, does she have a duty? And a lot of y'all will know the answer to this, so let me know in the comments in the chat. Does she have some type of duty to report certain things if she sees someone taking a certain interest in the topic, similar to what maybe a therapist or a psychologist would do if they're working with someone, if they know that they're going to cause harm? Or maybe she didn't see those signs. I don't know if she would admit to it on the stand. But if you're working in a certain field, it seems like you would have a certain, I don't know, a certain duty to report it. Y'all would have to let me know about that in the comments.
What did you think when you first heard that Bryan Kohberger, your former student, was arrested for this?
I was completely floored. I didn't believe it. And his demeanor that we saw on media was that he was confident that he was going to be able to prove his innocence. So I wanted to wait and see. I wanted to give him the benefit of the doubt. But as months go by and he kept saying that he had an alibi, and I wondered, well, why are you sitting in jail? Give us your alibi, get out. And that wasn't happening. And then it was really when he said his alibi, and it was clearly not an alibi, and he would have known that, certainly from all the classes that he had through undergraduate and graduate work. He would have understood that wasn't really an alibi. I think that was when I was really, floored that this is my student who has done these things.
You mentioned, you studied BTK, the serial killer. You
I'm sure she's seen
many
a lot.
times in prison. This is what you do in a hope to prevent these things from further happening and understand the mind of a serial killer. Would you want to study Bryan Kohberger? Have you put any thought into that?
That's a great
something
question.
that you think could be possible?
I've been thinking about that for 2.5 years. I would. This is my work. If he wanted to do that, I would. And within the framework of this is what we do to try to look at developmental
kind of weird
trajectories, the triggers, so that we can see the red flags faster. We can prevent people like this from wreaking the havoc that they do. So,
I don't know if how do y'all feel about this? This seems kind of strange. That seems kind of weird. I'm not going to go into what I think could possibly happen, but I would be interested to see. No, I don't want to say that. I would be interested to see if maybe one of the victims were closely related to her in some way, if she would feel different. But I think it's just because it's her line of work. I don't know if it doesn't even seem appropriate that she would do this type of interview with a former student. I don't know. Y'all are saying she sounds proud. I don't want to say that. She's like, yes, this is so interesting. What made you come to my class? Yeah, I don't know. That's weird.
So if he wanted to do that, I know that he's got the intellectual capacity to do it, to be self-reflective.
You know, she's going to be talking about it in every
think
class.
Through how his life came to this. And so I would definitely do it if he were willing. And it would be hard. But I think because I have so much material from him, I have questions for him that I think nobody else but me could ask.
Oh, boy. This is so
And just my last question, Dr. Ramsland. I mean, you are the person that I think of who, if anyone could see through someone and see that they have a secret side, I would think it would be you, because this has been your life's work and trying to figure that out. And in a sense, it almost feels like Bryan Kohberger even had you fooled.
Well, I study the ones who are really good at it because I want to truly try to understand what can we see in the constellation of behaviors that will tip us off earlier, because people who are really good at passing as normal and keeping their dark side hidden can fool people, can fool all the experts for a long period of time. I think anybody in my field will tell you they can be duped by a really skillful, predatory type of person. So, you know, I'm not going to say I'm the person who can spot this. I can see things like if you have a rigid personality and you're threatening, you know, those are red flags that are very clear. Or you have a mental instability and you're drawing, you know, violent images. These are things we can see and we can anticipate. But if somebody's presenting themselves as a completely normal human being engaged in life the way, you know, that according to our expectations, it's really hard to see through that. And as a teacher, I am not initially suspicious that students are there for the wrong reasons. And so I think some of us have what I would call a cognitive disadvantage, because we are giving the benefit of the doubt to students. And I think that's certainly what happened. That's why I would want to work with him and study him, because I want to understand how he was able to completely fool me.
Well, it'll be interesting to see as this moves along if that indeed ends up happening. Dr. Ramsland, appreciate you coming on tonight. And
shout out to Dr. Ramsland. What do y'all think about that? That just seems, I get with her being so close to it that she would want to know why, or which part of it did you take and utilize, or how was your mind thinking? To me, if this information isn't going to help us prevent these type of crimes, I mean, what's the point other than just piquing somebody's interest? If there's a place for this, and maybe I'll have to study and read some of her books to see why this work is important. But if it's not going to help you not only detect a pattern, but give you the power to call this out and maybe catch it before something happens, then what are we doing here? Let me know what y'all think in the comments and in the chat. If it's just something she's interested in, to me, it seems kind of odd, because I would be interested to see what percentage of people who take these types of classes or courses actually end up participating in a certain type of behavior. Amy says, I can see it. I can see why she wants to. It's weird and odd, but I think she needs closure with it because she was invested. Yeah, but she doesn't care about the students that go on to, I mean, she mentioned it briefly, but if she has a student that goes on to be successful in another field, she's not interested about that. She's not like, oh, I need to understand what they did to be successful. Or maybe we're just not hearing about it. I don't know. I looked, there's no study. If he is so cunning, he may not give her the answers he wants. He may play mind games with her. Who knows? It's her passion, though. I agree. I'm actually surprised she remembered him that much. She's a professor. It's her job. She probably motivated him. Oh, dang. Okay, I don't want to do that. She was just doing her job. I don't think she did anything wrong here. I'm just saying, I think it's interesting you would want to be that close to it, but nah. She still better drop the book. Yeah, that book would go crazy. In that field, not many people go into it, and by upper level, a lot are weeded out. I'm just here watching the haves and have-nots. I think that people who take these classes eventually work in law enforcement, psychology, or forensics. Someone has to teach. Yeah, you can't blame her for teaching it. I don't think she motivated him purposely. Oh, really? But you still think she motivated him? Dang. Wow. That's it. That's an interesting take. The book is coming. Oh, yeah, for sure. And I think a lot of y'all, I'm sure, would check it out too. I would watch it, but I probably wouldn't sit there and read a book about it. I like the legal concepts and the law and understanding and seeing how the system works. I'm more on that than I am about the actual story and what happened and what people were thinking. That's just, for me, it's a little bit different. Yeah, but was she teaching him? Yeah, but she was teaching him and wants to understand his motivations and how these classes. Amy's going to finish that comment. I have 3 kids in classes for psychology. I asked them all to look into it, and they have access through school. They all said they can't find anything correlating the two. But why did he target those kids? We may not know that. We might not know. Amy says, yeah, but she was teaching him and she wants to understand his motivations and how these classes played a part in him taking the lives of 4 people, not 1 person, but 4 people. I get it. I can see why she'd want to study him. He tricked her. So I feel like it becomes somewhat of a mission for her to figure out how she missed it. Okay, but what if she didn't miss it? If she didn't miss it, what would she do? So say she caught it. She's like, this is weird. What's she going to do? She's going to tell the school. She's going to tell him he has to leave the class. She's going to report him to the police. Say, I don't know about this. You guys might want to look out for it. I mean, could she really do anything? I don't know. I have a psychology and forensic degree, Amy says, and I'm telling you, it makes sense for me. The guy was a real life Michael Myers. Oh my goodness. Tay says, my undergrad was in behavioral science. I'm right there with you. Yeah, I think everybody handles things differently. I guess if you're studied in that field, you would just want to know, regardless of how close you are. She's a mandated reporter, so they would watch him. What's that gonna do? They're gonna watch him and then what? Oh, he drove by the house. Oh, he ordered a knife. Oh, he's killing somebody. I don't know. Are they going to have are these? Okay. That's what they want these days. See something, say something. What they do with that, I don't know. It's a self-mission for her. Also, I'm sure this wasn't his first. Makes me think if she reported him, and that's how the cops ended up with his name. Very interesting stuff. Let me go ahead. We've got one more topic I want to get to, and I'm not going to go too much into this one, but now that we're talking about Bryan, we've got his family. They're going to talk about how they felt about the judge's decision with this plea, how they feel about the prosecutors making this offer, and what they're going to do possibly moving forward once this entire situation is settled. Check this out. And this is Madison's family.
Good afternoon. I'm Leander James from the law firm of James, Vernon and Weeks in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. I'm a victims' rights attorney. For the past 2 years, I've had the privilege and the honor to provide pro bono representation in this criminal case for Karen Laramie and Scott Laramie, the loving mother and stepfather of Maddie Mogan. I will be reading a statement of gratitude today from the Laramies. 962 days ago, we lost our Maddie, our kind, loving, vivacious, and caring daughter full of purpose and promise. We are grateful for the gift of her life, and we have grieved the loss of that life during each of these 962 days. We love you, Maddie, and we miss you. We are grateful for the gift of the young, vivacious, promising lives of Kaylee, Xana, and Ethan. And we deeply, deeply mourn their senseless loss. We remain in solidarity with their families and friends, and we continue to shower them with our prayers and support. We are grateful for their prayers, love, and support that they have given us. They have helped us and sustained us during our darkest times. We are grateful to the prosecutor, Bill Thompson, and his dedicated and caring team, including victim coordinators, Kim and Stacy, who have helped to guide us through the sometimes confusing and disorienting legal process. Thank you for all your dedicated, diligent, and tireless commitment to justice and the successful outcome reached today. We support the plea agreement 100%. While we know there are some who do not support it, we ask that they respect our belief that this is the best outcome possible for the victims, their families, and the state of Idaho. We extend our deep gratitude to the many law enforcement officers and staff who worked tirelessly to obtain the critical evidence that brought justice today, including the Moscow Police Department, the FBI, the Idaho State Patrol, and the Lehigh County Sheriff's Department. We are deeply grateful to Judge Hippler and Judge John Judge before him. We thank you for your diligence, thoughtfulness, and judicial guidance. We appreciate the difficult work you have done to balance the rights of all involved and to uphold the rule of law. You have had our prayers and support throughout this case. We send our love and gratitude to the many family and friends who have supported us, cared for us, and helped us to heal our open emotional wounds. To the good people of North Idaho, the good people of North Idaho who have showered us with kindness and support, we thank you. We also mourn today with you the recent tragic and senseless loss of two brave North Idaho firefighters. We extend our prayers and support to their families. You are not alone.
I want to know
we
what
understand
happened,
your pain.
man.
For all parents who have endured the loss of a child, We know recovery is a long and at times an almost unbearable journey. But you are not alone. And there is hope and there is healing. We thank those in the press who have respected our privacy and the grieving process, and the privacy and grieving process of the families of Kaylee, Xana, and Ethan. To others in the press, we gently encourage you to do the same. We thank the many people across our nation and beyond who have reached out to us, prayed for us, and extended their kindness. You too have helped us on our journey to heal. We now embark on a new path. We turn from tragedy and mourning. We turn from darkness and uncertainty of the legal process to the light of the future. We have closure. We embark on a path of hope and healing. We invite all of those who have mourned with us to join us, and we wish you well. Thank you. I will now share a few words of my own. Over the past 2 years, I've been amazed and humbled by Karen and Scott's strength, endurance, and faith. They have uplifted me and so many. They founded a nonprofit to help others in the name of Maddie. They have been a beacon of hope amidst a dark and tragic time. To those young and bright attorneys out there looking for purpose and meaning in your profession, I invite you to join the effort of crime victim attorneys to bring victims justice with compassion, empathy, humility, and understanding. This case is not the end of violence. This case is not the end of lawlessness. We need your help to bring hope and healing to the innocent caught in the crossfire of life. Thank you all.
All right. And then we also have some of the fathers of the victims are going to speak out as well.
The sentencing, and certainly when the gag order is lifted after the sentencing. Bryan, stay with me for a moment. I want to bring into our conversation Steve Gonsalves, who is Kaylee's father, and his attorney, Shannon Gray, who have, endured the wrath of all of this for 2.5 years. Steve, I watched you earlier today. My heart was breaking as you, in protest, left court, because it's no secret you were not on board with this plea bargain. You're not the only family member not on board. I just wanted to touch base with you and just see how you are tonight. How are you processing, and what your thoughts are after this momentous day?
My family feels used. We feel like they took Kaylee's name and they used it as a weapon. They used it for a reason to commit whatever decision that they had, but it wasn't a share. It wasn't something that the community agreed on. It wasn't something that we agreed on as the victims of the families. It was a script. It was just a script that they had, and we just were just another name on a spreadsheet, and they just went through the system, and it was business as usual. But this isn't a family as usual. We're not a normal family. We're going to fight back. You're not going to play us. You're not going to use my daughter's name and literally pretend like we believed in your plea deal. We didn't. We believe in our community. We believe in our peers. We believe in a jury. We believe in the process. And maybe we're fools. Maybe we are complete fools for believing you should have a trial to put somebody in prison for life or kill them. But I'd rather be a fool than to believe in the system that I see before me.
Judicial system's tough.
You made the trip to Boise with your family. Did any prosecutors or anyone from the prosecutor's office reach out to you or anyone with your family either before the hearing, at any point outside the court, or after the hearing?
The only people who reach out to me are agents that aren't part of this court system that have warned me to be careful with this court system. And shame on me for not listening.
Wow.
Shame on me for letting Kaylee down. It's my mistake. I'm sorry, Kaylee. I'm truly sorry that I didn't get you a prosecutor who really believed what happened to you could only be fixed with life. Fixed, you killed 4 people, and to take 1 life for 4 seems like pretty simple math. But these guys describe this as a win, even though they don't ask us what a win looks like. So I'm sorry. I apologize to my daughter. I let her down, and it's been a terrible day. It's been terrible.
Steve, I'll go on the record saying there's been no stronger advocate for your daughter than you. I get it. It's been a terrible day, but I really don't want you going forward thinking you haven't done everything. You have done everything and more
that's tough.
for Kaylee. Look, I see the system. I know the system. Shannon, weigh in. You know the system. You're a lawyer. You're in Idaho. I haven't seen an advocate like Steve has been for his daughter in any case I've covered.
Steve is, he's a rock, right? He's a rock for the family. He's a rock for this prosecution moving forward and gathering evidence and facts. And I mean, we've had dozens of meetings where we basically sat in and told them what they should be doing, and them sitting down and taking notes about things. But we all the time just trying to keep confident in the prosecution. And it was not what the victims
sad
wanted.
To hear as a parent,
it wasn't what the Gonzalez family wanted, and the way the process was for notifying them, and it just puts a bad taste in your mouth about all of it. And and even talking with Steve and Christy today, the tone of the judge today was, I think they felt, was completely improper. And so there was a lot of things that, you walk away after 2.5 years of just being completely demonized and hassled and trolled and you name it on the internet and everybody else. And for it to end this way, not only the outcome of it, but also the way that it happened, just seems really unfair and completely uncalled for.
Yeah. And again, imagine just as a father, thinking about this as a father. In my opinion, I understand what he's saying, because there's only one way that the situation could be fixed, and that's for the person who did this to pay. Living your life after you take the life of my child is not, that's not justice to me personally. So I get it. And I'm sure I can imagine exactly what he's thinking, because God forbid I can understand where my mind would be. But anyway, sad situation to see. Hopefully the family can somehow find a way to find peace with this, knowing that this man isn't free. But I can imagine it's not enough. It's not enough. As a father who lost a child, as a parent losing a child, it's not enough. Y'all would be covering my trail right now if I was him. Man, I'm not going to say it on the internet, Unique. I'm not going to say on the internet. I just understand how I feel. Speaking of amazing children, we've got Dottie in the building. Shout out to Amazing Grace in here. Good morning. Good afternoon now. I love you. Good to see you. Always good to see Dottie in here. Oh man, that's tough. Y'all are talking about, studying these people. Oh boy. Has BK's family said anything? That's a good point. I don't think I don't think they will. Has his family said anything? Not that I'm seeing. I hope you have an amazing day too, Grace. Thank you. What else do y'all have in here? You would be surprised how many 8-year-olds want to set their house on fire. Nah, I believe it. I believe it. I've done things differently than I thought I would. Often when things happen, I have no idea what I would do in their shoes. I know what I would want to do. That's for sure. Hope he doesn't get tomorrow a July 4th barbecue in jail. Dang, that's tough. I appreciate y'all, man. Thank you to everybody who's in here. It looks like 100% of you have liked the video. Kind of a somber way to end the live stream. But I want to shout out a couple of y'all who sent a super chat. Shout out to Kara with the 3 bomb, says next time. Big thank you to everyone who went the extra mile and supported the show. Slim Life, thank you. CPE, Shauna, as always. We've got Stephen Callie, Kara Hampton, as I mentioned, and my awesome, amazing Amy always in here. If y'all haven't yet, make sure you like the video on your way out, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you don't miss any time that we go live or drop a new video. I'll be dropping some clips for y'all later on this afternoon. And we got a couple big things coming up. As you know, 4th of July is tomorrow, but we don't take days off here. We will be here tomorrow morning. So make sure, even though you guys are going to be sleeping in, we'll start around 10:30. So I'll give y'all this some time and opportunity to wake up and get to the show tomorrow. Thank you to Amy on our way out with the cake. You know what time it is. Oh, also, yeah, thank you for asking about that. If y'all want to subscribe to Amy's channel, the link is in the description. I will also drop it for you in the chat. I hope y'all have a great rest of your afternoon. And as always, you know what to do. Keep growing, keep pushing, keep it classy. We gone. Peace. It's cake time.